Now, the President of Germany has begun his three-day state visit to the UK, the first in 27 years. He's been meeting with Keir Starmer in Downing Street in the last little while. There, the two sat down for talks, with the Prime Minister saying the Anglo-German relationship was in a very, very strong position. Well, earlier, the German President and his wife were received by the King and Queen on the red carpet at Windsor Castle. The King and President then travelled in a horse-drawn carriage through the quadrangle of the castle. Well, let's go live to Windsor and live to Camilla, who's been there through the course of a day packed full of pomp and ceremony.
So much pomp, so much ceremony, pageantry as well. But of course, as we know, these state visits are organised by the Foreign Office because this is a moment to cultivate diplomatic ties with important nation states. And that's exactly what Sir Keir Starmer did. And that's why we saw President Steinmeier at the Downing Street being greeted by the UK Prime Minister. And we've had communiques from that meeting, the German President saying that the UK-German relationship is in far better shape than in the difficult, his words, post-Brexit period during his state visit to the UK. So Sir Keir Starmer also welcoming Frank-Walter Steinmeier, and the pair warmly shaking hands, as you can see. Mr. Steinmeier saying that since the difficult days, in his words, after the UK vote to leave the EU, the countries had developed capabilities to manage it a little bit better, in his words. So what does that mean? We can talk to Peter Barnes, the chairman of the British-German Association, which is a charity which cultivates closer links between Germany and the UK. And it is that question, isn't it? How do you work around this relationship between these two states post-Brexit?
Well, Kasia, I think the summary we've just heard from the President is a very fair one. The Germans were very upset that Britain chose to leave the European Union, but since then there has been a lot of work on both sides to restore that relationship, culminating in the Kensington Treaty this July, which not only solidifies the defence partnership, but takes things forward in the civil society dimension as well.
And so talk us through how it works, because obviously Germany's still within the EU, but yet it can have some forms of discussions externally.
That's right. So there are a number of different fora, of which NATO is the most important one for defence and security. And although Germany is a very committed member of the EU, that doesn't prevent them from including the UK in defence and security cooperation.
And that's certainly something that the German president recounted on when he was meeting the Prime Minister, describing this new situation in Europe, if not in the world. So therefore, there is need for a closer cooperation. Of course, we know there are still British troops in Germany.
That's right. I think what has given that bilateral defence cooperation particular impetus has been the Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022 and the fear that the Americans may be less committed to a defence of Europe than they've been in the past. So for Germany, having a nuclear power like the United Kingdom very committed to the defence of Europe as well has been a very significant step.
And so in terms of the first day so far, Peter, just in a word or two, a success so far?
I think a great success so far. Very friendly messages on both sides and an exciting build-up to the state banquet this evening.
And you'll be meeting the President as well in the next few days?
At his engagements tomorrow in London and in Coventry.
Peter Barnes, Chairman of the British-German Association, thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you well with those meetings. And of course, we'll have extensive coverage because we know that the German President and the First Lady will be back here at Windsor for a sumptuous banquet a little bit later on. So much more here from Windsor throughout the night.